Okay, so we're gonna be talking about Metal Gear Solid 5 now, and this is gonna
All
be
right.
something really interesting. Okay, so I was going around in the Metal Gear Solid forums, right?
Uh-huh.
Just going through everything, and I gotta say, man, the people on there are fucking stupid. Like, not all of them, like, but in a certain part of it, it's just so fucking stupid. I can't even begin to imagine. Okay, so I was in the particular section in the Metal Gear Solid forums about Metal Gear Solid 5,
Uh-huh.
and I was going through the ones that said what we don't want to see, the things that we don't want to see in the game. And I go through it, right? And I'm like, okay. At first, people have good arguments, like, oh, I don't want to see bosses with horrible stories or stuff like that. I don't want to see bad, like, the way the codecs work, like bad transitions and from codec to game or cutscene to game. Like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. But then, as I keep going down, I see people start saying stupid stuff like, "I don't want to see, you have to recruit people in MGS5. I want to have soldier recruiting, or having to build the base, like in Peace Walker. I don't want to see that."
Why not?
That's one of the things that makes me think like that. Like, oh, it needs to go back to where MGS was originally. I'm like,
Which is just a
Originally.
linear story.
okay, guys, okay. I'll go into the my own argument. Just let me finish the other things people keep pointing out. The other thing was the big boss thing between Snake and him, saying that one guy said that Big Boss basically stole all the iconic things Snake would do, like hide in a box or something. Right there, that just blew my mind that somebody could
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah, Sonny told me about that. I was thinking in my head, I was like, wow, that guy is really retarded.
A lot of these people in the forums either do not look at the cutscenes or do not pay attention to the story.
It's fucking son and his clone. Come on.
It, he's just
And they are like they have the same exact DNA passed down from each other.
well, not exactly. I think that like in the story it's stated by Liquid that they're not an exact match of the father,
Well,
but they still have the same traits, the same genes and stuff. So,
e-
t-
exactly.
are you surprised that some of the stuff Snake does as being a clone of Big Boss, they do similar things? The only
Stuff
difference,
like,
really, the really big difference between Snake and Big Boss is that Big Boss smokes cigars and Snake smokes cigarettes.
you know, it's people like that. Like, I mean, they really need to know what they're talking about. Seriously.
Okay, now
'Cause-
I'm gonna tell you the big thing. The big thing that really just got me in awe about some the things that people kept saying. They really wanted the MGS5 goes back to the original like Metal Gear games. Like, say you have to procure all the weapons, like Metal Gear 1 and 2, MGS 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you would go and find the weapons, and you would have a specific set, and that's about it. Like,
Yeah.
not a huge amount of weapons, and it's all linear, kind of like original MGS. I look at those people and I look astounded because this is you don't trust Kojima. Kojima knows what the fuck he's doing, okay?
Yeah, he
Right.
does. He does.
Kojima knows. And right now the risks he's taking with this new game, I just applaud cuz
Especially with all the trolling.
I
yeah,
know.
he really
He is a really good game developer, you know. There are times where he just put me in an emotional roller coaster about MGS though. Like it's just oh man.
now this is what I was talking with one of my friends earlier when I got called and dropped the Skype call. You really believe that Big Boss, he is the leader of his old mercenary organization, right? He's not like part of the CIA. He's not part of Foxhound anymore. Oh well, I think in MGS5 he's supposed to take control of Foxhound again. Like, he's back at it, but again, he still has control over MSF or whatever the hell he decides to call it in the future. like Diamond
Yeah, because
Dogs or whatever.
Yeah,
he's stuck
Diamond
between
Dogs.
the two.
Do you really believe? Because this is according to the people that they want to have it be like original MGS, which with not that many weapons and pure on site shit.
That
Okay,
no,
wait, wait,
just
wait, wait. Let me finish. Do you really think Big Boss is gonna be like, okay, I have an army, a huge amount of soldiers I can command to do what I want, a vast armament of weapons, a huge arsenal of tanks, jeeps, ships, helicopters. You really think after that he's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna infiltrate this base in the most shittiest fashion. I'm gonna get a horse and just go there on the horse and sneak around the back, and my only weapons that is gonna be with me is a pistol and a knife.
Well, I mean, I would do that, but you know,
Well, like, okay, now that's one of the things that Peace Walker, and with the menu system and the choosing soldiers and choosing weapon loadouts, made it interesting because you could do whatever the hell you want. You could choose whether if you wanted to just have a pistol or not. Honestly,
well,
the people.
that's because you were given variety for once, you know.
you can upgrade your weapons too, make them stronger and better.
That's another thing people would complain about. They said leveling up weapons was stupid.
No, it's not. No, no, just no. Customization is a must. Well, not always a must, but it's sometimes it is, just to make it
It's
pretty
secondary.
fun and
It's
interesting.
like a secondary priority. It's
Yeah,
like you got
yeah,
story and gameplay is like its own category. It's like they're both in the same slot in
yeah.
my book. And
If you just want to be stealthy, you could just put a silencer on your gun. You know, just and if you want better accuracy, you could just put an ACOG scope on it, or red dot sight or whatever, and you could just shoot them in the head, and, with silence. Or you want to go loud, you could just get a grenade launcher and just blow shit up. That's what I would do if I want to go loud. But
but I just laughed so hard when I thought about that scenario. Just imagine Big Boss going all like scanning the base. He sees a whole army of soldiers. He has his own army. He can do whatever the fuck, and he just goes, you know what, cuz I'm not gonna use it. And God looks at him. What? You're gonna take on this entire military organization like the SOF, which is like its own little army. You're gonna take them on by yourself with just an MK2 and a knife. Yes. And he's like, "Do you at least want us to like take you to the drop zone or something?" Like, no. I'm gonna get on this horse and I'm gonna just ride there.
Are you sure
And
are you
Kaz,
sure we have this jet? We have a perfect drop zone right over the drop site. There's like they won't even have any surveillance over there. No, no.
we can even pick
I can
you.
do this on my own.
We can just pick you up and take you back to the base whenever you want to. And are you
you're
sure?
really gonna stand there and say to me, Snake, that you are not gonna use any of the stuff that we have at disposal for you? No. Honestly, if given the option, I bet most of these people would be very happy with that. Because
Yeah,
that would be
because
the
he's
most
gonna
funniest
execute it
shit.
very well.
That would be the most funniest shit I've ever seen if that actually happened in a cutscene, especially with David Hayter. But sadly, that's not going to be the case. But
Either way.
yeah, it's like the people on here really surprised me with that shit. It's like,
Yeah, they surprised me too from what Sonny told me. I'm just minding my own business, just doing my thing, and all of a sudden I just, Sonny told me about what that guy said about Big Boss copied off a snake. And it's just no, that's just no, that's stupid.
I
To me, that's just saying some stupid shit right there.
and
To be
most of
honest,
the what are you gonna say?
to be honest, I think what the main thing that they're trying to point out is they want Solid Snake back somehow, but the thing is they can't really get that with the way the story is lining up. It's kind of just Big Boss's chapter is coming to an end, just like Solid Snake's is, and we're gonna have to maybe move on to a new hero, which hopefully will not be another Raiden story because Rising was terrible, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, like, I kind of miss Sol. I mean, I just miss Solid Snake. You know, I miss playing with them. You know, and just the modern tech weapons and stuff like that. But I don't really mind Big Boss either. You know, I actually like his story. His story does seem a lot more entertaining than Solid Snake, even though Solid Snake didn't really do anything. You know, he did do some things, but you know, Big Boss went through a lot, like Sean said. You know.
Big Boss's story is a lot more emotional because he was in the Metal Gear universe. He was a soldier. He was a soldier first, and he got emotionally attached to his mentor. And then some huge turn of events came up with the United States and Russia, and the government used him to basically get rid of her, like silence her stuff. And then, it's a lot more deeper than that. Like, there's a lot more controversy and a lot more like plots to going on with it.
And I would love more story on her. I really would, but
Actually, that's another thing people were talking about the forums. They do not want more stories centered around the boss.
ah,
But what I mean is like the way Portable Ops and Peace Walker would use it. Well, in Portable Ops, not so much. They kind of like referenced Metal Gear Solid 3 a lot. You know how in Peace Walker he was all like, "I want to know more about the boss."
yeah, because it was more centered around her, like because of most of her mentality being somehow programmed into the Peace Walker and everything, and
Well,
you know that
yeah, especially
came to
with
be.
Strangelove wanting to reproduce her mind because they had a thing going on.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Two chicks going at it.
No,
Who
well, technically,
else?
I think it was just Strangelove that was actually. I don't think the boss was like on the same page.
Yeah.
I think,
well, I
But
mean, the
I
name
think
kind of comes too.
what?
Strange Love.
What do you
oh
mean?
yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, the name.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. It's like I don't really like. Honestly, the boss is one of the key plot points in the big boss's story. Of course, if they use her as a focus to like big boss's emotional struggle or some shit, like that's understandable. Like and most of the time, they really like explain some stuff that we didn't really know about the boss. Which again, when I first heard and when Rising was being made, that Kojima was gonna make a game about the boss, I thought that was gonna be nice. I thought that was gonna be a good thing. Like
I did too.
that would have been very interesting to actually see it from her perspective and technically how, depending on what kind of
Hmm.
point in the story it was, because she was in a bunch of missions, and one of them was, I think, in the when she gave birth to Ocelot. In the
Yeah.
like, if you listen to her talk in MGS3, that she says that she gave birth in the field of battle, and then the Patriots or the philosophers, like it was called back then, took
Yeah,
the baby away from her and stuff. Basically, they did a Patriot thing because since MGS2, they did that same story where, like Olga's baby was taken away from her and stuff. They said they kind of did the same thing with the boss, but in a much more interesting way.
Yeah.
because it seems like everything, went exactly according to plan for Kojima so far, and I think he'll really be successful with whatever he might have in store for us, because I would like to know what shaped the boss, because I know she went through her own emotional struggles with what you were mentioning, the whole her kid being taken away and everything.
And they did explain like most of her story in Peace Walker if you listen to
Audio
yeah,
file.
yeah,
Yeah,
the audio files. Eve explains the boss's stories, her backstory.
Yeah, like
but like,
I think there was a good enough like explanation of the boss's story. Like, sure, there could be more, like mostly in actual games, but
Yeah.
I think more story about the boss would be less in this game if it ever comes back up.
Yeah.
yeah, like it was the boss who formed Big Boss, like, shaped him because she was his mentor. And it's like it goes in a line here because it was also Eva who got mixed up with Snake and everything, and that led on for the other three Snakes, Liquid, Solid, and Solidus, to be, born and everything. And that's how they came to be. And of course, we all know Raiden came to be because of Solid Snake, because he magically knew how to use that sword and everything.
Well, technically, Raiden was part of the Solid Snake simulation. They wanted to try and recreate a new Solid Snake without having to make clones. That could actually come back to fruition in the next games after Solid Snake's death. They might try to do that again and actually make a perfect Solid Snake through the simulation. That could happen.
Yeah.
That's still there. That could probably still happen somehow. And I don't know how. Kojima will find a way. It's like
he always does.
He always does,
because it's question these things.
Yep, it's Kojima.
Any idea would kind of work as long as it goes within the guidelines of the Metal Gear universe. Like, people are arguing whether or not they'll bring back Volgin back from the dead.
No. I don't think that's...
I don't even see how that's even possible. He's dead.
Unless somehow it ties in with the Sorrow, but I don't think that would see fit too much.
Well, in the trailers,
not like Sorrow can bring people back to life.
Well, as far as I'm sure, I don't think he can't. But he can connect with them though.
Yeah, he can connect.
Sort of like how in MGS4 when Screaming Mantis, was it?
Yeah, Screaming Mantis, and then there was Psycho Mantis that was controlling her apparently.
But it was also the Sorrow who was bringing up Psycho Mantis, so it was like a big chain.
And then there was Kojima hidden.
Yeah, because Kojima is God.
Exactly.
He's just hidden.
I freaking laughed when that happened in Peace Walker with God. Kojima is God. Kojima is God. It's fun to laugh at that sometimes. The Japanese sense of humor sometimes can really show off in the game.
Kojima, he's a pretty damn good developer. He can make games. He's made some masterpieces.
Yeah. But it's like funny when people try to combat the Japanese logic or Kojima's writing style. Like, people thought Sokolov died, and then when he came back in Portable Ops, everyone was like, what the fuck? So, as far as I remember, they shot him in the kneecaps.
Nobody, you can't just fight Kojima's logic. When it comes down to his games, you just can't fight his logic.
Especially right now, because I think I remember one of his statements was, this is going to be one of his last one or the last couple that he's going to be making with the Metal Gear Solid franchise, and he's maybe handing it off, or maybe he's just leaving it where it is, and moving on.
That's after this game is where I'm going to be getting worried about the new developers. Like, sure, Kojima can do whatever the hell he wants. He can decide whether or not,
Yeah, if he doesn't want to make a game or not.
Know this, Kojima. You decide to leave, you're going to have to deal with all the fans ganging up on you for it. It's like, you can do it. Just know that there's going to be a lot of controversy between the fan base. You're going to be alienating a lot of fans. They expect you to be there as a symbol. It's like having a statue of Kojima outside the Konami headquarters. That's exactly what people think Kojima is. He's going to be there forever.
Yeah, of course he's always going to be there forever. There's always going to be another Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, that's what they think. But still, the new team, somehow they're not progressing. They're not getting better because Kojima keeps going and saying, okay, I'll keep doing the Metal Gear series, okay.
Because, I don't think this is the time for people to be, I'm obviously, open to any opinions that they might have or suggestions, but
yeah,
I don't think this is the right time for it, is the thing. Because, once they move on without Kojima in the Metal Gear Solid franchise, I think maybe that would be the time to take, ideas from community and get there.
But not just the people who think that Snake copied off of Big Boss. I just want the game developers to listen to the smart gamers, the fans that are actual fans that listen to that listens to the plot and the lore of Metal Gear.
Exactly. If you, and this goes to any gamer, if you play Metal Gear and you barely pay attention to anything the characters are saying, you cannot you cannot express any type of feedback to these developers because that is controversial. Most of the time, people don't know what the hell they say. They think something is one way when in the story is another. You need to know these things down pat. Like like in the past with NES and Zelda stuff, people knew that shit to the last letter.
Hmm.
Exactly.
They studied that shit. It was their life. Now you need to be able to be that knowledgeable in the story and know exactly. You need to be Kojima. If you want to do this shit, you need to be Kojima. Like if you
Yeah,
want,
it's like you got a level here. You've got put the bottom line being, the what's that? The people that made Rising again, the Platinum Games. I
yeah,
would put I would
platinum.
put them at the bottom level, and then at the top would be Kojima, which is God, so it would be God level.
So yeah, like at the
I
bottom,
just,
platinum. Like I
I,
understand people like platinum games. Like, of course, they're another good
hey,
Japanese developer.
yeah, don't get me wrong, Bayonetta, and I like Bayonetta. That was a good game, but just know to Platinum Games, they to me it's like they're kind of messing up what Raiden was. They messed him up. Don't give him the rough Snake voice. What the hell were they thinking?
Oh
Exactly. They
yeah,
gave they gave Raiden a more rugged voice, and they gave the Big Boss now has like the more
oh yeah.
softer but darker, deeper
No, no,
voice.
no. You gotta understand. It went from Metal Gear to Metal Gear.
Yeah, it's just Metal Gear.
Exactly. I'm
And
like,
I've watched an IGN or Machinima video like 4 or 5 weeks ago about games missing their best voice actors like David Hayter. He's a good voice actor. Nobody can make a good Snake impersonation like he can, and just taking
Snake.
him off.
I think you might
Well,
want to correct yourself a little bit. Chief.
okay, Sean.
Snake
You
impersonation? No, he is Snake.
right?
Exactly.
Well, okay, yeah.
Leo actor does Snake impersonations.
But what I'm saying is that you can't just take good voice actors away like that. That's a bad move. That is a
Like,
really bad
okay,
move.
now the one point I would say would be justified for a new voice for Snake, and most people have said this before in videos, which would be after the 9 year coma. But even then, it's kind of like, But
Unless something happened, but I
well,
don't know how
people
your voice would go from rugged to smooth.
exactly, especially people keep saying, "Oh, it's like because Big Boss smoked a lot of cigarettes." Technically, that would do the opposite effect of going from a smoother voice.
Damn.
He wouldn't have a smooth voice from smoking that much unless you're taking the Metal Gear universe into account. It does the opposite. It's like you go from
God,
rugged to youthful.
I wouldn't even know how. Imagine if he somehow got even more rugged.
It's like he swallowed the microphone. It's like
Yeah, he just.
David Ayer gets the mic stuck in his throat, and he's like, it's like, yeah, of course, use the smoking thing as an excuse to be like, yeah, his voice changed because of years of smoking.
Another example, taking away Sam Fisher's voice, that's just a big no. And giving
Well,
him
okay,
some
okay.
young
There's
guys.
there's nothing they could do about it for that one. Like,
Well, I know, but why give him a voice of a 20-year-old? It's just stupid.
yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense here. The age, and then suddenly he goes from conviction to be like, he goes really like close up grip.
Yeah, like the man's
Jeez.
been the man's been like it's been with Epsilon. I think that's what it's called for
Yeah,
for
no,
years now.
isn't it third echelon?
Yeah, he's
No,
he's been with
he went
he's
with
been
third
with them
echelon.
for years now.
You know what would be funny though if Ubisoft did this? I would actually like applaud at them for this. Like if they actually noticed that Sam's voice is different. But I mean in a really like they point it out really bad. Like they need to outright say your fucking voice is off. I don't what's wrong. It's like I don't know. I just
Watch
woke
them
up
just
this
like
way.
be at they're just like at the next presentation of the game, and they realize, oh wait, that doesn't sound right, and then they're just like, oh god, I think our audio was messed up.
They like smack the little like computer a little bit, and then suddenly it's Sam Fisher's original voice. And how do we
Yeah.
get on the topic of Splinter Cell now? We were talking about MGS.
Yeah,
We're
I
talking
know.
about
I
Yeah.
was just saying that. I was just saying that replacing a voice actor of someone with a deep, rugged voice with somebody that sounds young is a bad idea, and just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Mhm.
But, yeah, though back to MGS, I can't believe, I just can't believe what they did to David Hayter. Though I think that was a dick move right there.
Oh yeah, you mean the fact that they were that? Okay, so what they did to David Hayter, basically, this is what I've heard from his own tweets and stuff. He want he wanted to know why he hasn't been contacted for like to be a part of MGS5 or if he was going to be a part of it at all. And being the voice of Snake for 10 years, you would expect him to get, treated well.
And
Like
you know,
maybe get Kojima a message from him, or even an upfront talk of him saying like, "Here's what's happening. This is what's gonna happen. This is what's been happening now. This is why this has happened. And stuff like that." But Konami treated him like shit.
that just made me hate Konami a whole lot.
Like
And I just lost respect for Konami. All right,
okay, so like yeah, David Hayter contacts them. He wants to know like, hey, what's going on with MGS5? Like, do they not need me or anything? I need like some clarification because I'm free or something. I'm not sure what he exactly said, but it was something along the lines like I need to be clarified on whether or not they need me for MGS5 or if they do, like because I haven't been contacted by them in a while, and I've just heard that they're developing the game. And like, so he gets some random Konami representative to meet him at a restaurant or something. They have dinner. They have a lunch there or something apparently, and he basically tells them that they don't need him anymore or something. They don't need him, or they don't need him anymore. Like the words were placed along the lines like that. But the real dick move is he says that, and after all that, after being Snake for 10 years, he just says that, makes him pay for dinner, and then he walks off.
Yep, that was the end
And
of that.
then he leaves. And it's like, well, he doesn't like walk off all crudely like a freaking James Bond movie or something like that. And then you see David Hayter with a really sad face on the chair. Obviously, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but still, it was cold and it was like not right dick move. Still,
Play the world's smallest violin for you.
the world's smallest violin and David with puppy dog eyes just looking off as the guy walks away.
just a sad violin song. But
But
but yeah, though it's just bullshit. You know how they just treated him like that. That they had no right to do that whatsoever.
And you know what? I'm gonna say it right now. If all this shit, if after all the emotion, after this emotional roller coaster that I've been through with Kojima, with them changing the voice actor, it turns out it's all a troll, and Kojima comes out like, "Oh no, David's still Snake." I'm gonna be pissed and happy at the same time.
I
Yeah,
know, right? I'm just gonna like
yeah.
flip out.
Because at first I'm all like, David Hayter is voicing Snake again, yes. And all of a sudden it's all like, wait, like I didn't get any news or anything like that.
I'm gonna be like, "Fuck you, Kojima, for making me be so confused."
Exactly.
It's like, I hate you for what you did, but I'm glad you did it.
Exactly.
It's like, I hate you for trolling, but I also like the fact that this is still happening, that David's still gonna be Snake. But, ugh. We have to
Well,
wait and
at least
see.
he's like sort of active with the community, you know. He
Yeah.
all he knows we all love his. Did you like it?
Yes, that Kojima, good job on that. Just fantastic. You surprised me a lot. I was like, "Oh my god, did you?" I was like, "Did you hear that, honey? Did you hear that?"
Yeah, I was just freaking out.
So the live stream for E3 on MGS5 is gonna happen June 6th, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Kojima should just come out on stage and put that "Did You Like It" remix on the stage, and he just comes in doing the pitbull dance, like
Did you
he just
like it?
comes
Did you
in.
like it?
He
Did
has
you
a
like
huge
it? Did you like
he,
it?
he calls a bunch of Japanese choreography dancers. He has a huge choreography event with, with a bunch of dancing and shit. That
and then
opens up the event like so bad.
and there's just one awkward big one, and then he turns around and you just know for a fact that's David Hayter, and he's just like dancing with them.
Oh my god. Did you like it? Did you like it? Did you like
Did
it?
you wreck it? Did you wreck it? Did you
Did
wreck
you
it? Did you
like
wreck
it?
it?
Did you like it? Did you like it? Oh man,
Okay. But
Kojima's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I like I hate him for so many reasons, but I also love it's like only Kojima can make you have such an emotional roller coaster for a video game series, and I think
His
he deserves an award
He should have a
for
new reality show. It's like only with Kojima.
a reality show starring Kojima.
Yeah, only with
His
Kojima.
fucked up head is just this is like crazy. This is why we love Kojima. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be surprised if Kojima comes on stage. He does he goes and does the "Did you like it" thing again, but he does it it's David Hayter wearing a Kojima mask.
Oh my god.
He takes it off, and he says, "Did you like it?" in Snake's voice.
Oh my god.
Like, and it looks really authentic. Like the Kojima mask on David's face look exactly like him. You couldn't even tell the difference
It would
somehow.
be a whole nother freaking Joachim situation.
Exactly, it would be a Joaquin situation, but this time somebody else is pretending to be Kojima,
Exactly.
and it's David the whole time, and Kojima's actually David.
Oh god.
Now that would be a twist
David
right
is
there.
actually Kojima.
Kojima is Kojima, and David Hayter was David Hayter the whole time.
It's like they just switch around their microphones so that David Hayter lip syncs with Kojima so that they, seem like they're each other, but then they stand up and take off their outfits and, reveal to
They
everybody.
were the same the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh,
This was all a ruse.
Another
it's like the emotional roller coaster that Kojima has put me through makes me want to bitch slap him, but also hug right after. It's like I go up to them and I go, "You son of a bitch, you make me sick!" and I hit him. And then after that, after he grabs his face like, "Oh!" I'm like, I go and I grab him and I give him a hug.
It's like, I love you, but I'd kill you.
I love you. You're a dick, but I love you. Fucking make me want to kill you, but still,
Yeah, man, Kojima, he sure is something though.
I'm still surprised though. In people's heads, because okay, let's imagine this. Like I said, this is how I was gonna put in the image of Snake just ignoring the army he has into consideration. Like, let's imagine that there is no option, right? There is no menu like in Peace
Hold on a
Walker.
second.
This is the way the people on the MGS forums want it to happen. Like they want it to just be this, like the original MGS, right?
Right, but
There is no
it just
option.
doesn't
There's no
seem
secondary option. There's no recruiting soldiers. No extra weapons. It's just you go with a pistol and knife. You have no help. No one can help you except through codec, and you're fucked. Enjoy.
It's just like, how could they not even like? They haven't even seen what the finished project is even like yet, you know? Because this is exactly what Kojima's been wanting to do this entire time.
Yeah, this is like didn't he said that like this is the way I wanted MGS to be.
Yeah, he's always wanted it to be this way. It's just this is finally his opportunity,
This is
his
Kojima's
full
big bang.
potential of Metal Gear Solid.
This
Yeah,
is Kojima's big
because
bang.
he's
This is what
gone.
he's gonna be. This is gonna be the memory that he's gonna leave behind. He's gonna make this game. He's gonna make it the best one he can. This is gonna be his last game, and he's gonna make it clear. He's gonna make it the best one, and he's just gonna leave, and he's not gonna look back at all. He's
Yep.
not gonna look back at it. No, he's just gonna leave. He's gonna end his career with a bang. Well, not his actual career.
We all know badasses don't look at explosions and walk away with cool sunglasses.
He's gonna do it. This MDS is supposed to be to his knowledge because he's done this time and time again. Which is why the new developers always make me laugh because they haven't really progressed at all.
Right. That and Kojima's new announcement of he's not going to have a full-on action trailer, coming up. He's actually going to put in some story into the trailer, and I'm all for that. It's just I don't want any. Well, we know Kojima won't spoil anything for us, but give us
Uh,
give us too much, and we might be biting off a little bit more than we can chew. You know what I mean?
yeah, but I kind of disagree with that. He has kind of spoiled before. The MGS4 trailer. The MGS4 trailers basically showed you like half of the game,
Well, good point.
and with actual subtitles and everything.
Yeah.
It has subtitles from the cutscenes, so basically they just like edited most of the cutscenes into one thing and just kept the subtitles on by accident.
Well, I mean, that was an obvious mistake, but
But whatever. That was like the debut for MGS and PlayStation 3, and those kinds of mistakes won't happen this time.
I
Hopefully.
still think that MGS4 was when I first played it, I thought that it was. Well, I still think it is now, but that is a good, big improvement from MGS, MGS2 and 1 and 3 because
I
you had
still
the.
think I still think 3 is my favorite, mostly because
Oh well, 3 is my favorite also because
yeah,
and
yeah, because of the survival was probably my favorite aspect.
even
yeah.
though it was kind of bullshit how Snake could be shot, right? He got shot, and he has 3 guards aiming at him. He presses pause. He digs the bullet out. He cures his wound. He disinfects it, puts a bandage on it, wraps it around nice and tight, then goes, cooks a bowl of instant noodles, and he just sits there and he eats it. He stands there. Like just imagine what this would look like outside of the pause screen.
He's like, "Oh, hold on, guys, I gotta do a couple things here."
No, he's like, hold on, hang on, time out. The bandage. You know what? I'm kind of hungry. Just opens up the bag and this is like. Any of you guys got any water?
and they're just having an idle conversation, with Snake.
And they're all talking in Russian. Remember, because Snake in his head translates for you, the player.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like I always found that kind of interesting because the Kojima even made it work.
Yeah.
I'm not starting the sentence right. Is what I'm doing.
And I don't
He
know
made
what
it all made sense.
Because if you play MGS3, you'll notice that the lip syncing for the voices isn't matched up right. They don't even look like they're speaking the same language because they're not. They're speaking Russian. That's why with Sokolov, like when you first
Doesn't
see
make any
Sokolov,
sense.
when you first see Sokolov in MGS3, and you talk with him for a couple minutes, he talks to you about Volgin, the Thunderbolt. Anyway, after you talk with him, he says, "Your Russian is superb. Where did you learn to speak it?" And then Snake says, "From my mentor." Like
Which is
basically,
exactly where it kind of like ties in with how he can understand all of them.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
Snake learned everything from the boss, and he turned into Big Boss, and then Solid Snake learned everything from him. Simple.